everyone, welcome to my channel. It's me, Mish, the dorky reader, and today's video is my monthly reading wrap-up for the month of May. I've got Howl here for emotional support, and here is my stack of books that I had for my May TBR. There were a lot of really good books in here. I didn't get around to all of them, but I did do pretty good on my reading. So, right off the bat, I'm going to start with I Tell You I Love You, but Then I Have to Kill You. To be honest, I started this book and I very quickly lost interest. Like within a couple pages, I realized that the tone and the setting and everything, it was just a little too teeny boppery for me. And I decided to DNF it and unhaul it. Not because it was terrible, because maybe for that age group, it's a fantastic book, but I just wasn't feeling it. And I thought, if I ever get to a point in my life where I do want to read this book, I could always just like get it from a library or something. It's that kind of a vibe for me. It's not a keep it to own kind of book. I will say that this book only cost me like $1 or $2 at most when I got it at the used bookstore. So it's not like I'm losing out on a lot by unhauling it financially. And maybe someone out there is going to really love this book, and I hope they do. So that's the first one. The second one on my list is The Apothecary Diaries Volume 5 by Natsu Hyuga. And I read this one again, like all the others. It has that same kind of fun tone. I still really love my main characters. I will say at the end of book 5, there's a very questionable scene written in. And I looked it up, and apparently the translation is really off, and it does change the tone quite a bit from the original intent of the scene, making it feel almost like our main male lead is assaulting or attacking our main female character, of course, Mao Mao. And that makes it feel kind of like, whoa, like when I first read it, I was really shocked, but I was kind of like, I think there's a translation error, and I'm glad I checked into it. There is. And I think whoever is responsible for translating Volume 5 should probably get around, like they need to find a way to reprint this and market it different, because it came off as wrong. But I will say I still really liked the book. The overall plot and everything was really fun. There's a lot of mysteries to solve for our little Mao Mao, and I enjoyed it. It was a good book. Then the next one on my list is Wings of Fire, The Dragonette Prophecy. This is book 1 in the Wings of Fire series, which is my daughter's absolute favorite series of all time. And of course, it was the first book I read in the month of May because I didn't want to let her down. I will say I had a good time reading it. It's really fun. It's very fast paced. It's got a lot of darkness to it for a children's book, which I think draws them in. You know, there's violence and whatnot with the dragons. I will say, as an adult reader, I was hoping for a little more substance. Like, it needed to be longer for me, and things needed to move a little bit slower because it was too fast. But it was a good book, and it was fun, especially for a kid's book. So, of course, on Goodreads, I gave it a 5-star so that my daughter wouldn't kill me. I would personally say maybe a 4-star, but it was a really good book. Next, I have Soul of Stars. This would have finished a duology for me, but I did not read it. And I'm really guilty of that. Whenever there's like a thing that'll finish a series on my stack, I am hesitant to grab it. I don't know why. What is it about finishing a series, like closing that door, that really just goes, no, don't end. But I never reach for these. I need to, because that's a goal of mine this year, is to finish series. So you'll probably see this again sometime on one of my future reading lists, and wish me luck that I actually get around to it. Then I had Red Star Rebels by Amy Kaufman. And I will say this is the biggest letdown this month. I really like Amy Kaufman, Jay Kristoff together when they did the Illuminae files. It was fantastic, and I have high hopes for Jay Kristoff. And I've read other works of hers that were still really good. It wasn't like as good as when they were together, but it was still good. So I was hoping this would also feel like that, and it just didn't. There was something missing in this. I think, again, this was too fast-paced. There wasn't enough to this book. It was kind of too small. And there was a really cool plot. everything takes place within like 8 hours on this cool like Mars station, and you know they're trying to stop them from destroying everything, and it was really high stakes and really cool. But 8 hours is not long enough to form a really valuable, like, a romance, you know? And there was a romance thrown in, and I think that's really what killed this book, is the romance. The romantic subplot was very cheesy, and at times I felt like they were being drawn to each other when really they were in a life or death situation, and no normal sane person would, in the middle of all that, be like, ooh, ooh la la, you know, it just doesn't seem appropriate, and it didn't feel right. I feel like if they had, at the very end, hinted that they would start liking each other, that would have been perfect. And actually, this whole book might have gone from my 3-star rating to like a 4-star, because I think that the romance being tossed in kind of ruined it, which is weird. I love romance, so imagine me saying that. But anyway, the plot is really cool. It is high stakes, fast paced. If you're looking for an easy sci-fi to get into, this is it. But I do think, honestly, the romance kind of killed it in this one, which is weird to say. Next, I have The Swan's Daughter by Roshani Chokshi. I hope I said that right. I'm losing my voice for some random reason. But anyway, nope, I didn't read it, so off you go. And then I have Garth Nix's Sabriel, also, again, another book I did not read. I really want to read this one. It's been hidden on my shelf for so long, and it's one of those books that's been around, like, for ages, and I've seen it growing up on the shelves, and I just never grabbed it, and I kind of want to know what it's about. It's, like, lingered that long. It must be good, and I hear there's, like, some kind of demonic cat or something. I don't know, some kind of creature. I'm curious. I'm curious. Okay, next on the list I have Fredrik Backman, Anxious People, and I did read this book, and I will say this book was fantastic, and it was full of so many great quotes. I wish I had them in front of me so I could read them to you. They're just, it's so like moving and meaningful, and all the people are so quirky and weird, and it was just really well done. And I'm not usually a literary fiction person. I do every once in a while dip my toes in. I might like some, but I don't often give them a 5-star. I gave this a 5-star. This is a fantastic book, and I can see why Fredrik Backman is loved by so many. He is a really wonderful, wonderful author. This book does touch on I guess I can't say the word now. Is that like the thing people say, unaliving instead? So people discuss that topic quite frequently in this book at various points. There's other things going on too, and it's, I don't know, it's just moving, beautiful. I don't know. I cried. I don't often cry reading, but I bawled my eyes out reading this book. But I also laughed. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, I highly, highly recommend Anxious People to anyone, especially people who might be feeling a little blue. There's really moving, wonderful, poignant moments to this book. So yeah, great book. Next on the list, I have The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. I did not read this book. I do still want to get around to it. Apparently this is all written in letter format, which is a really easy way to read for me. For some reason, I had another book recently I read like that, and I just loved it, like journal entries or whatever, instead of letters. But that kind of thing, just, it flows really well. So I am curious to pick this up. Again, another book that's supposedly very meaningful and moving, and a literary fiction. Not my usual cup of tea, but after reading Anxious People, I'm more willing, I think, to try some more options. And the last book on my list, not to be the least, another 5-star read for me. Also the biggest book I read this month is, The Strength of the Few by James Islington. This book was so good. So good. Book 1 was good. Okay, I really liked book 1. I gave that a 5-star as well. This book was so good. I love the format of this book. Not format. Let's just say there's 3 perspectives you get in this book without any spoilers. And between the 3 different perspectives, there's very different feels. One is kind of set in this political, kind of war-torn, or like, it's kind of got that vibe going on. The second is very gloomy, dark, miserable, and hopeless feeling, you know? And it's also just really creepy and scary, and it's so great. And the third is more uplifting. There's found family elements to the third perspective. There's grand, you know, heroic things happening and underdog coming up, and I don't know, it's got a really cool vibe to it too. So all 3 perspectives were fantastic. And I remember starting off reading all 3 perspectives and having a clear favorite. That favorite changed. And I went from enjoying that hopeful whatever, you know, in the beginning, because I was like, I need something positive, to really loving that second one. That the stakes are so high in that world. Like, I just loved it. I loved every minute of reading this book. It took me quite a while. His writing is usually kind of heavy, and the subjects are always kind of dark, and there's a lot of words in it that kind of like Roman kind of names and things like that tossed in, and it just feels a little more challenging to read than some of the other books. You know, I haven't read Dune, but I've heard the same kind of thing with Dune. Like, it's this magnum opus, this huge world, and lots of weird concepts you have to kind of wrap your head around, and it kind of is like that. But anyway, it was really good. Very interesting ending. Looking forward to whenever the 3rd book comes out, and I will be reading it. So of the books in May that I did read, I'll make a little stack of those books. Should I include the one I DNF'd? I mean, why not? These are the ones that I actually picked up and tried to read. So good job, me. That was a pretty decent month. 5 completed and 6 attempted books out of 10. That only leaves 4 that were not read. So yay, good job, me. Next month is going to be exciting. I will say The Strength of the Few bled into the month of June for a couple days, so some of my reading days were snatched away to finish The Strength of the Few because it was the last one I read. But yeah, good stuff. Looking forward to next month, and I'll see you then. I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope you read great books in May. If you did, put down your favorite book you read in May on the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!